Good afternoon guys and welcome back as always to a new video on this channel. Today we're going to talk about Wimbledon, of course. We are in Wimbledon time. Wimbledon has just started at the moment, maybe, and probably I'm streaming my live reaction of the Kashin Djokovic first round, because this video is going to be out on the 3rd of July at 4 p.m. I guess, which is the hour that you've decided for the videos of summer, when I'm going to be in England and in Cuba. Videos are going to be out at 4 p.m. pre-recorded, of course. I have to do a lot of work because in those 2 weeks that I have without doing much to do, I still have to cover Wimbledon fully, and I have to record something like 40 or 50 videos, and I have 4 days in between my England journey and my Cuba journey, so you have to record a lot of videos, but I'll do it. And then eventually I will have a break from content creation. I will have a break from long content, because I will do shorts every day, I guess, community posts every day, but I'm going to focus also on physical exercises, things that I'm going to talk about on another channel. But today in this video I want to talk about Wimbledon. I want to analyze the draw, even though Wimbledon has already started, but 3 or 4 hours in. I want to analyze the draw as of today, in this moment. Now it's almost midnight of the 3rd of July, so Wimbledon didn't start yet, and I want to talk about the draw and analyze the biggest threat for Nola's reign, and who's going to win Wimbledon, or who's going to go third at Wimbledon out of the big three in women's tennis. But before we talk about that, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. At the moment we are at 209 subscribers, which is a very, very good number, but the goal is to reach 300 as soon as possible. Hopefully we'll get to 300 really, really soon, but we'll see what happens, honestly. I invite you also to activate the notification bell in order to receive a notification for every video that I publish on this channel. Then I invite you also to leave a like. That's fundamental for the feedback that you leave to the content creator. You make me understand that you've enjoyed the video, and that makes me incredibly happy and proud of the video that I've published. Then I also invite you to share the video with as many people as you know, your family members, parents especially, and all the people that you know, your sons if you are a father or a mother. Yes, I invite you to do so. It would be really, really appreciated. Then I invite you to leave a comment and share your opinions about this Wimbledon, the draws and analysis. So I want to start to talk about the favorites going into men's Wimbledon, gentlemen's Wimbledon. I believe that the favorites for Wimbledon, well, there is one favorite, a clear favorite, which is Novak Djokovic. Four-time consecutive Wimbledon champion. He's won the last 4 editions, from 2018 to 2022. In 2020, Wimbledon wasn't played because of the COVID emergency, and he's the strong favorite going into Wimbledon. He's won the last 2 Grand Slams. He's won the last 3 Grand Slams he's played in. I mean, he's nearly unbeatable at slams. Analyze the last 20 Grand Slams that Djokovic played into. Let's talk about to who and in which circumstances he lost to. And let's start by his last Grand Slam loss, which was the quarter-final loss against Rafa Nadal at the French Open. You know, Nadal dominated the French Open for the last 18 years. It's fair to lose against him. He only lost 3 matches in 115 matches he played at the French Open, so it's fair. Then he lost against the best version ever of Medvedev at the US Open, where he was overwhelmed by pressure. Also there, really, really tough circumstance to create. Then in 2020 lost at the US Open because he was defaulted, because he hit a lines judge with a ball. And then there is 2019 and prior to it, but let's focus only on the last 3-4 seasons. He's barely lost at slams, and at Wimbledon he doesn't lose a match on center court since 2013, and he's going to play every match on center court, I guess. And even though he won't play every match on center court, he has not lost a match since 2017, where he retired against Thomas Berdych middle match in the quarterfinals, and his last loss in a full match was in the 2016 third round against Sam Querrey, and he played his best match ever without a doubt. Big server, and I believe that he's the main favorite. He's the favorite going into Wimbledon. He doesn't have a really big threats. He has Urkac potentially in the fourth round. Well, talking about seeds, he has Musetti, but Urkac is a better player in grass, even though he's struggling a lot on the surface at the moment. On his side, he has Casper Ruud and Yannick Sinner. I don't think that Casper Ruud will get to the quarterfinals. Yes, Taylor Fritz, who could potentially meet Sinner in the fourth round, so yeah, it's not an easy matchup for Djokovic at all to play against Sinner in the semis potentially. But as I said, and I believe he's the favorite going into Wimbledon. On his side of the draw, he has Nick Kyrgios retired. He just retired. Really sad news. I hope that he recovers as soon as possible. He talks about a wrist problem that he's had, and it's really sad to hear those things. And I hope that he just recovers quickly. And he's struggling a lot with injuries. Although he isn't as passionate, but it's not about passion mainly. He isn't as connected with tennis as other champions. I think that he's an entertainer. He always brings a lot of people to the game, a lot of new fans. So he's a really crucial elemental in the growth of tennis. So I really hope that he can play as much as possible. But had he played in this Wimbledon, I don't think he would have won the championship first thing, which it's improbable. But I think that he wasn't the favorite going into the match against David Goffin, who's a player who reached the quarterfinals of this tournament last year. He lost in a tight 5-setter against Cameron Norrie actually. So it's a really sad thing to hear, but it's the nature of sports. Sometimes there are some really great moments, and sometimes there are some really heartbreaking moments. So it is what it is actually. It's really sad to read that he withdrew from this tournament. Of course, there's some absence in Wimbledon. Let's have a look at semi-finalists of last year. No Nadal, no Kyrgios, so 2 of 4 out. Only Djokovic and Norrie left, and they could meet potentially in a final, but I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. I feel that the final is going to be Djokovic against someone. It's going to be either Alcaraz, who's the main favorite on that part. But I believe that Djokovic is the main favorite. I mean, he's a step ahead of everyone on grass. He's a step above. So he's the only grass court specialist, in my opinion, because no one has his level. Djokovic plays really well on every surface. His ability to adapt to every circumstance, on the toughest circumstances, he's able to adapt to them really well, and that's a quality that only champions have. And in my personal point of view, I believe that Djokovic is going to be the Wimbledon champion. First thing, I already say it right now because I don't see major threats to his reign, to be honest. We've known Nadal, who's one of the players that could have potentially won against him, because he won against Djokovic in Wimbledon in 2007, unless I'm mistaken. Then Nolo won in 2011 final, 2018 semi-finals, they meet again, 5-setter. So, and last year we were very close from witnessing a 10th Grand Slam final between those two legends of the game. It would have been an incredible contest for a tennis match, but it didn't happen. So yes, we were ready for it, but it didn't happen at the end. So we'll focus on another potential Spain-Serbia Grand Slam final, which is between the young star Carlos Alcaraz, who's the number 1 seed, and the number 2 seed Novak Djokovic. The fact that Djokovic is number 2 seed and Alcaraz is number 1 seed doesn't change the cards. The cards say that Djokovic is the main favorite, in my opinion, on the men's side. As I've said, I don't see anyone that could potentially win against him. Let's talk about the biggest threats he has on his side of the draw. Bublik, who's playing really well. He's playing really well in the last weeks on grass. He's played a fantastic tournament in Halle. He eliminated Yannick Sinner in the quarterfinals, although Sinner had an injury, but he was already a set and a break up. We can talk about the fact that he was favored by Sinner's not perfect physical condition, but he still won against him, which is not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy task. Then he won against Zverev in the semis, and he won against Rublev in the finals. So he won against 3 top 10 opponents, which is a very, very good feat. And he could potentially meet Djokovic in the fourth round, unless I'm mistaken, or even the quarterfinals. So that would be a really, really interesting matchup, I guess. Well, actually, Bublik is a potential opponent for Djokovic in the quarterfinals. Then there is Rublev on Djokovic's side. Well, to be honest, even if Rublev reaches the quarters, I don't see him as a big threat to Djokovic's dominance at Wimbledon. And then we have also some other cheeky opponents, as I've mentioned, Bublik. Goffin could be tough, maybe. Rublev, not an easy one, not an easy task, but Urkac in the fourth round, which is still early. Musetti, who took 2 sets from him in the 2021 French Open. I mean, there are some tricky opponents, but as I've said, he's too superior to the others on grass. It's very simple. I think that grass is the surface where Novak still has the edge to other players. I know that Luis Alcaraz was in fantastic form, but we've seen it at French. It was a really, really strange match, I know it, but there it was where Alcaraz was supposed to be the favorite. And he was the favorite, actually. But he didn't manage to win at the French Open in the semifinals. And now Alcaraz should win against Djokovic in the finals. There is a possibility that it happens, of course, because there is always a possibility for something to happen. But it's improbable, in my opinion, because considering that Djokovic he's won the last 2 Grand Slams, he's in fantastic shape, form. I don't see anyone dethroning him at Wimbledon this year. Let's analyze also the top half of the draw. Carlos Alcaraz faces Chardy in the first round, which is not an easy matchup. But in the first round, tough things come. Ridderneck, a player who played a really, really close match against Alcaraz Queens. So he could potentially create, and Alcaraz could have some trouble to defeat him, but I think we do eventually. Then Alcaraz potentially has Rune in the quarters. That would be a really, really interesting match. I'm excited for this potential match to happen. That would be a really, really interesting one, as I've said. And if the players respect the seeds, the fourth quarterfinal in terms of the draw is going to be Carlos Alcaraz against Holger Rune. Rune played a great Queens. He reached the semis, then he lost to Deminor eventually. And if they face in the quarters, that would be a really, really interesting match to see. Alcaraz would be the favorite, but Rune won in a completely different environment, in completely different circumstances at Versailles this year and last year, and Alcaraz was also struggling with injuries. So that would be a really, really interesting match to see. Then the other quarterfinal, I think that there are some favorites in there, but let's talk about Stefanos Tsitsipas Steele match, which is really, really interesting, by the way, in my opinion. I believe that Stefanos Tsitsipas is the favorite to win that match, even the clear favorite maybe, but he's not in great form at the moment, and also Thiem is not in great form. I mean, Thiem came back 1.5 years ago and he's still at the same level that he used to be. So I don't think the Thiem stands any chances to be back at the level he used to be. Unfortunately, injuries took him out of the competition for the biggest trophies of the game, but tennis gives you a lot and also does the opposite. So in tennis there is this love-hate relationship that you have with it, and everyone that plays tennis experiences it. Also in my case, but I'm an unknown player, no one knows me because I'm not a good tennis player, by the way. If you play tennis even once or 2 times or only 3 times, you notice that there is a love-hate relationship with it, and it's 100% true in my personal point of view. And yeah, it's like this. So in the quarters, in the top half of the draw, I'll divide in quarters. So we have Alcaraz, Rune, then we have on the bottom half, we have Sinner, Ruud, and then we have Rublev, Djokovic. And who's missing there? Stefanos Tsitsipas, of course. And then the other guy who's missing is Daniel Medvedev. So a Medvedev Tsitsipas quarterfinal would happen if the seats are respected. I believe that Manarino is a really, really tough task for Medvedev in the second round, although he lost in the final against Eubanks in Mallorca. But those tournaments are not much important. The tournaments, the pre-slams tournaments. I know that, for example, Świątek withdrew from the bad semi-final that she had because of food poisoning, but although she retired for this was just a warm-up event, so I believe that Świątek is doing okay, she's fine. I mean, I don't see her, I see her as one of the favorites for Wimbledon, going into Wimbledon, although I believe that Rybakina is the favorite, considering she's the defending champion. I would also rank Sabalenka maybe a little bit higher, at least at the same level as Świątek. And this is talking about the ladies' Wimbledon. Talking about men's Wimbledon, in that quarterfinal side, there is Cam Norrie. And there is, as I've mentioned, Manarino Medvedev. That would be a really, really interesting second round. In my opinion, that would be a really, really tough second round for Medvedev, and potentially that would be lethal for Medvedev. I would also say that Medvedev has played fantastic this season. In this season, Medvedev was born. Medvedev came back to his level, came back to his true self, to the level that he showed to us from 2019 to 2021, and came back to the level, but he has not been able to perform really well at slams. At the Australian Open, we still didn't witness Medvedev's best version. But at Roland Garros, after winning Rome, I've said that he was one of the favorites going into the tournament, and he lost at the end, at the French Open in the first round, and he lost badly. So let's see if he can change this thing. Let's see if he can play well at Grand Slams. I would be really happy to see Medvedev doing well at the championships, honestly. He's never had a really, really good Wimbledon. The max round that is reached was the fourth round in 2021, where he lost to Ubi Urkac. He could have faced Roger Federer potentially in the quarters. Federer that was eventually destroyed humiliated, unfortunately, 6-3, 7-6, 6-love by Urkac. And it's going to be a really, really interesting second round if Medvedev and Manarino go through their first match. It would be a really, really interesting one. It's going to be curious to see what happens there, potentially. And then we also have Andy Murray, who plays against Peniston. Andy Murray waits so there is this really, really interesting second round. Murray Peniston is a really, really interesting Great Britain derby, because Murray is the favorite in my opinion, although he's 36 years old, but Peniston also is a really, really good player. Peniston defeated Rune in last year's first round at Wimbledon. Even if Rune still wasn't at his peak on grass, and I think that Rune can do better than what he's done so far on grass, I would say that is a really, really interesting first round, because Peniston is a really tough player to play at Wimbledon. So I think that's going to be a really tough match for Murray, but he's the favorite. And if Tsitsipas and Murray meet in the second round, that would be a really, really spicy second round, considering the heated debates and sort of provocations they had in their 2021 US Open first round. That would be a really, really good match to see, and I'd potentially be doing the reaction of it probably. And if everything goes as planned, they will meet in the second round, because, as I've said, Tsitsipas is the favorite against Thiem, and Murray is the favorite against Peniston, and I think that the bookmakers would make the error to say Tsitsipas is the favorite. But let's not talk about bookmakers. I never use them. Talk about Murray and Tsitsipas potential second round clash. That would be a really interesting encounter, in my opinion. I feel that Murray would win that one because he has the crowd support and because Tsitsipas is not playing really well on grass. He's not being his best version of himself. Talking about tennis, since this year's Australian Open, in my opinion, since then he's not been able to play and to perform at the highest level. But he's played a pretty good French Open, I'd say. He reached the quarters against Alcaraz, then he got dominated by the Spaniard, but he was playing well before that match, I think. And in my personal experience, I believe that Tsitsipas will lose to Murray in the second round if they meet in the second round. And the quarters, well, the semis, I believe that Sebastian Korda is a big threat. Sebastian Korda could potentially reach the semis at Wimbledon. I'm not gonna lie, I think that Sebastian Korda stands a chance to reach the semis at Wimbledon. He's been playing really well, really good tennis. Lately, he found his true self back at Queens after struggling with injury, coming back late into the clay season in Madrid, unless I'm mistaken. He wasn't playing really well, he wasn't feeling it incredibly well. You remember that at the Australian Open reached the quarterfinals, and I believe that he's going to have a really good Wimbledon, potentially could play Alcaraz in the semis in a rematch of the Queen's match, and I believe that is a possibility. There is also Cam Norrie, another Briton, who has chances to get through and go to the semis, in my opinion, because Cameron Norrie is a player that at Wimbledon played really well last year, and on the England soil, also considering his final at Queens in 2021, I think that he's a really tough player to play against on Wimbledon and on grass. So could potentially reach the semis again, or even Andy Murray if he's able to play really well. But I don't think that Murray will reach the semis. He has a chance to go far at the tournament, maybe reach a fourth round or a quarterfinal. But in the fourth round, we potentially meets Korda. I don't think he's the favorite. I think that in that specific scenario circumstance, he would lose to Korda. And honestly, it would be a really enjoyable match to see Alcaraz playing against Murray. Although Murray probably would get dominated, but to see a man like him, a player like him, who's played the biggest matches of the game and is fighting since 5 years for this level that is not his. Is a level that is lower to his and is not giving up. He still believes he can be a threat for the titles, for the biggest matches. That's admirable, and that's the reason why I think he's one of the tennis ambassadors, he's one of the tennis legends. He's a myth of the game, of the last 20 years of tennis. A Big Four member, and he's not Big Four just because he was an unbelievable player, a fantastic player, but also because of what he gave to tennis and what he's continuing to give tennis. He found the dimension of a legend of the game, and that's something really good. Now I want to talk about ladies Wimbledon a little bit, then I'll finish the video. I believe that Rybakina is the favorite going into Wimbledon. She could potentially meet Sabalenka in the semis and Jabeur in the quarters. Actually, I would be really curious to see Jabeur and Rybakina facing the quarterfinals, because that would be a rematch of last year's final. And Jabeur is a really good player on grass. She reached the quarters. She reached the final last year at Wimbledon, and she plays a really vintage tennis, a great tennis, drop shots, touch. She has a really great touch. She plays well at the net, in my opinion. And in terms of hand skills, maybe not at the net specifically, but in terms of hand skills, she's a really good player. I believe that would be a really interesting match, and that would deserve popcorns, honestly. And then there is Sabalenka on the other side. Then we have Swiatek then we have Garcia Pegula potentially meeting in the quarters. Then we have Swiatek. She's probably the favorite going into Wimbledon, maybe. some people say yes, some people say no. She played well at Bad, honestly, at the Bad event in Germany. She played well. I saw some matches of her and I think she played well. But I still consider Rybakina as the favorite for the trophy again. And if I have to say, I would say that this year's Wimbledon is going to be, well, I think that Swiatek stands a chance, and she's playing better on grass, and I believe that she has chances to do well at Wimbledon. Let's see. Kvitova also could do really well. Vekic could do really well, won Berlin, unless I'm mistaken. I think that she has great chances, and Kvitova won Wimbledon twice. Can do really well at the All England Club. Well, I hope that you enjoyed the video. I think that this was a great video. I'm satisfied with my level in terms of my English. Please, of course, as I've said in all the videos that I've done in English, if I've done some errors, please comment and correct myself. I will not be angry or bothered by your corrections. It's fair. There are people that are where there are a lot of people that speak English better than me, and to learn something from them for me would be fantastic. And if you have some corrections to make, do it. But I can see and I can understand and I can feel, especially, that I'm speaking English way better than the first video that I've done in English. Could you please comment and confirm this? But by the way, I invite you to subscribe to the channel again. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up, activate the notification bell, share the video with as many people with all the people that you know actually, and then comment in the comment section and say me and tell me actually your analysis of the draws of Wimbledon, your predictions, winners for both female and male, for both men and women and women Wimbledon. And I would say, and I will actually end by correcting myself, because gentlemen's and ladies Wimbledon edition 2023. I want to see your predictions. Hopefully you've liked this video. I'll see you later on with another video in this night actually, recap of day 1 of Wimbledon. Bye to everyone, and thank you very much for the support.